So yesterday we discussed about the properties of charges. So there are few properties what we discussed yesterday. One is the charges are two types, positive and negative. Second one is like charges repels and unlike charges attracts. Third one is charge is not a fundamental quantity. Fourth one is it's a scalar quantity and its dimensional formula is AT. So these are all just basics. The main important properties of a charge is, first thing is the charges are additive in nature. Second one is the charge is quantized. Third one is the charge is conserved. Fourth one is the charge is invariant with the speed. That is nothing but the value of charge does not vary with the speed or velocity. Next thing what we discussed is the charge will always resides on the outer surface of any body. In case of uniformly shaped bodies, the charge distribution will be uniform. If it is an uniformly shaped body, the charge distribution will be uniform. Whereas in case of an irregular shaped bodies, the more charges will accumulate at the sharp edges. For example, if it is an irregular shaped body, the more charges will accumulate at the sharp edges of any body. If curvature is less, so there is more charges will be accumulated. So these are the properties what we discussed yesterday. In that, the charge is quantized is important. Q is equal to plus or minus NE, where the value of N is equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on. So these are all we discussed yesterday. Now, since beginning of this chapter, since 2 days, we are discussing ఏది మన యాపిల్ ఐడియా ఇన్కరెక్ట్ యాపిల్ ఐడి ఆర్ పాస్వర్డ్ చిరు డాట్ కోటగిరి లినక్స్ కామన్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది మరి ఏంటో చాలా టైం పట్టుద్దిగా 2 hours పట్టుద్దిగా okay. Now, since 2 days, we are using the word like charges repels and unlike charges attracts. There will be a repulsive force between any two unlike charges. Sorry, there is a repulsive force between any two like charges, and there will be an attractive force between any two unlike charges. So here, what is the formula to find out? What is the formula to find out either that attractive force or repulsive force? That question arises. For that, the Coulomb has given one beautiful law, which is very, very fundamental for all upcoming chapters in electricity. So Coulomb's inverse square law. Coulomb's inverse square law, which is very important for 3 marks or 2 marks. Coulomb's inverse square law. So here I am considering two charges called Q1 and Q2. These are the two charges Q1 and Q2, separated by certain distance. Here that distance I am calling it as an R. Two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by a certain distance R, placed in air. Placed in air. Two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by a distance R, placed in a medium called as air. Here Q1 and Q2 maybe one is positive, one is negative, or both are positive or both are negative. If one is positive and one is negative, so we call it as an unlike charges, there will be an attractive force. Either both are positive or both are negative. So like charges, there will be a repulsive force. So for my convenience, I can say the product of Q1 and Q2, the product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0. The product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0. When the product of Q1 and Q2 will be greater than 0, either both are positive or both are negative. For example, if Q1 is the positive charge and Q2 is also the positive charge, then positive into positive will give the positive. So the positive value will be always greater than 0. If Q1 is negative charge and Q2 is also negative charge, so minus into minus will get a plus. Plus is nothing but which is also greater than 0. Whenever the product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0, what type of force will be there between those? Since these two are the like charges, there will be a repulsive force. If the product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0, there is a repulsive force between the two charges. If the product of Q1 and Q2 is lesser than 0, when the value will be lesser than 0, if one is positive, one is negative. Either one is negative and other is positive. Minus into plus will get a minus. The minus will be always lesser than 0. So in case of two unlike charges only, we'll get the product of Q1 and Q2 will be lesser than 0. In such a case, the force will be attractive force. So if the product of Q1 and Q2 is greater than 0, there will be a repulsive force between the charges. If the product of Q1 and Q2 is lesser than 0, there will be an attractive force between these two. Now, I am considering two charges, Q1 and Q2, separated by a certain distance, placed in air. Then, definitely, there will be either force of attraction or force of repulsion will be there based on their nature. If both are like charges, repulsive force will be there. If both are unlike charges, attractive force is there. So as far Coulomb is concerned, the force of attraction or repulsion, between the two charges is directly proportional to product of magnitudes of their charges. Product of magnitudes of their charges. The force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges is directly proportional to product of magnitudes of their charges. Here I am considering only magnitude, because why I am considering only magnitude is initial itself I am telling that either the force of attraction or repulsion. So the force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges is directly proportional to product of their magnitudes, product of the magnitudes of their charges. Magnitudes is nothing but, for example, Q1 is equal to 3 coulomb and Q2 is equal to minus 2 coulomb, if say, then I have to take only 3 into 2, not 3 into minus 2, because I am considering only the magnitudes. So the force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges is directly proportional to product of their magnitudes and inversely proportional to square of the distance between those two charges, and inversely proportional to square of the distance between those two charges. So particularly you have to write like this only. If the force of attraction between the two charges separated by a certain distance placed in air is directly proportional to product of their magnitudes and inversely proportional to square of the distance between those two charges. From these two equations, I will write F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. F is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square. So here, so F is equal to, we have to introduce one constant. That constant I am calling it as a K, Q1 Q2 by R square. F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square, where K is proportionality constant, where K is proportionality constant. Now the proportionality constant values we can get only through the experiment. So based on that, the given K value is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon, like alpha beta, it's an epsilon. K is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, epsilon 0 or epsilon naught. What do you mean by this epsilon? Epsilon is nothing but permittivity of air or free space or vacuum. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of air or free space. So here the question arises, what do you mean by this permittivity? Permittivity andre ಏನಪ್ಪ? What do you mean by the permittivity? So here, for example, here one charge is there and here one more charge is there. Two charges are there. Now there will be a repulsive force or attractive force. Any one of the force definitely will be there based on the nature of a charges. That means when there will be a force, if and only if there will be an interaction between these two. There will be an interaction between these two. So how this interaction will take place? For example, whatever the suggestions I gave, you are following. That is nothing but there will be an interaction between you and me. If I told you to sit, you are sitting. If you told you to stand, you are standing. That is nothing but there will be an interaction between you and me. How that interaction is taking place between you and me? That interaction takes place through the sound waves. So here because of the sound waves only, there is an interaction between you and me. If the space between you and me, if the space between you and me does not allow my sound waves, if the space between you and me does not allow the sound waves, then definitely there will be no interaction between you and me. So whenever you are responding according to me is nothing but there will be an interaction between you and me. That interaction between you and me is happening in the form of a sound waves. If the medium between you and me does not allow the sound waves, then obviously there will be no interaction. So similarly, you take a magnet. So because the magnetism is very familiar to you all. This is the north pole of a magnet, and here one more magnet I am considering. This is the north pole of a magnet. So here is also the like poles repulse and unlike poles attracts. Because of this, there will be a repulsive force between these two. That is nothing but what? Here the interaction is taking place. Interaction is taking place between the north pole and the north pole. When it will be possible? If this medium allows, the medium between the two magnets allows these magnetic lines of forces. If the medium is allowing these magnetic line of forces, then there will be an interaction. If the medium does not allow the magnetic line of forces here, if the medium does not allow, medium between what and what? Between these two magnets, then definitely there will be no interaction between these two. So in order to find the force between these two magnets, the medium between these two magnets will play the major role. That is nothing but if the medium between these two magnets allows magnetic lines, there will be a strong force. If the medium between these two allows magnetic lines partially, then there is a weak force. If the medium between these two magnets does not allow the magnetic line of forces, there will be no force. So the force between these two magnets mainly depends on the medium between these two magnets along with their pole strengths. In the same manner, here there is either repulsive force or attractive force. So definitely there is an interaction between Q1 and Q2. That interaction will take place in the form of electric field lines. So the interaction will take place in the form of an electric field lines. What are its properties and all we'll discuss later. But here, the interaction between the two charges mainly due to the electric field lines. If the medium between these two charges, allows these field lines, there will be a force. That force may be either attractive or repulsive based on its nature. If the medium does not allow the field lines, then there will be no interaction. If there is no interaction, there is no question of either attractive or repulsive. That's why while finding the force between the two charges, along with its magnitude and distance, we have to consider the effect of the medium also. So that property we call it as the permittivity. What do you mean by the permittivity now? Permittivity is the property of a medium which allows electric line of forces through it. Permittivity is the property of a medium which allows the electric line of forces through it. Permittivity is the property of a medium which allows the electric line of forces through it. That's why while finding the force between the two charges, we have to consider permittivity also, because the permittivity will play the major role in order to find the force between the two charges. So now you understand what is epsilon naught. It's very, very important. It's a basic thing. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of air or free space. What do you mean by the permittivity? It is the property of a medium which allows the electric line of forces through it. Now the formula to find out the force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So the value of permittivity will vary from one medium to another medium. Now epsilon naught is the permittivity of air or free space. That's why I am considering here FA. FA is not nothing but air force here. FA is nothing but the force between the two charges when they are placed in air. So FA is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So the value of epsilon naught is equal to 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 SI unit. The value of epsilon naught 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 SI unit. If I substitute this value here, then 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value will approximately equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. It is approximately equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9. That's why whenever you want to find the force between the two charges when they are placed in air, it will be equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Q1 Q2 by R square. FA is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Q1 Q2 by R square. This value should be used. 9 into 10 to the power of 9 should be used if and only if the medium between the two charges is air. Then only we can make use of 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Q1 Q2 by R square. So this is called Coulomb's inverse square law. The Coulomb's inverse square law will be used to find the force between any two charges separated by a certain distance placed in fixed medium. The force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges is directly proportional to product of their magnitudes of the charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So by substituting digicum, we'll get this. F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square, where K is called as a proportionality constant value, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So epsilon naught is permittivity of air or free space. Permittivity is nothing but it is the property of a medium which allows the electric line of forces through it. So the value of epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 SI unit. So if you substitute the epsilon naught value in this formula, which is approximately 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So Fa is nothing but the force between the two charges when they are placed in air is equal to 9 into 10 to the power of 9 Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay. Then instead of air, if we have the medium, instead of air, if you have the medium, how to find this? If the medium is there instead of air, so in a medium other than air, then F is equal to, that is Fm, force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges when they are placed in a medium, is equal to 1 by 4 pi. Instead of epsilon naught, I will consider only epsilon. Remaining as usual same, Q1 Q2 by R square, where epsilon is permittivity of a medium. Epsilon is permittivity of a medium. So Fm is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. This formula will be used when there is a medium other than air between the two charges. Next, relative permittivity. Relative permittivity. It is denoted with the symbol epsilon r. Relative permittivity. It is denoted with the symbol epsilon r. Whenever you are using the word relative, is nothing but it should be compared always with the standard one. For example, relative density of any material. Relative density of any material is nothing but the density of that particular material by the density of water at 4 degrees centigrade. Like this. Here the standard density will consider density of water at 4 degrees centigrade. In the same manner, relative permittivity is nothing but it is the ratio of permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of air or free space. Permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of air or free space. Here the standard medium we are considering as an air. In the denominator we will consider always standard medium. Here the standard medium we are considering as air because we'll spend or the charges will spend most of the time in air only. That's why epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. Okay. So how we are define this relative permittivity? Relative permittivity is the ratio of permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of air or free space. This relative permittivity is also called as dielectric constant. It is also called as dielectric constant. Dielectric constant. It is denoted with the symbol K, capital K. It is denoted with the symbol K. So, the dielectric constant or relative permittivity is the ratio of permittivity of medium to the permittivity of air or free space. From here, I will write epsilon is equal to K epsilon naught. Epsilon is equal to K epsilon naught. Now what is the K value for air? What is the relative permittivity or dielectric constant for air? What is the formula for dielectric constant or relative permittivity? Epsilon by epsilon naught. Here epsilon is the permittivity of a medium. Here I am considering medium as air only because I want to find the K value for air. Here I am considering the medium as air only. So epsilon naught. The standard one is epsilon naught only. So the dielectric constant for air is equal to 1. That's what we discussed yesterday. The dielectric constant or the K value for air is equal to 1. So as we discussed yesterday, for metals it is infinity. For water it is 80. Like that the K value will be always greater than 1. Only for air it is equal to 1. For remaining all other media, the value of K is greater than 1. So the value of dielectric constant for air is equal to 1. Remaining for all other media, the value of K is greater than 1. What is K here? Dielectric constant. Dielectric constant is nothing but relative permittivity. Relative permittivity is nothing but ratio of permittivity of medium to the permittivity of air or free space. Now, if I go with that formula, Fm is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. 1 by 4 pi epsilon is nothing but K epsilon naught. If I substitute K epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. So 1 by, this I will write with your permission, 1 by K into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. Q1 Q2 by R square. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square is the force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges when they are placed in air. Epsilon naught illidre alli air. Epsilon idre alli medium other than air. So this I will write 1 by K Fa. 1 by K Fa. What is Fa? Force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges when they are placed in air. What is the Fm? Force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges when they are placed in a medium. From these two, I will write K is equal to Fa by Fm. K is equal to Fa by Fm. What is that Fa by Fm? How you are going to define dielectric constant with respect to the forces? Idi with respect to the permittivity. Idi with respect to the forces. How we are going to define? Relative permittivity or dielectric constant is the ratio between force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges separated by a certain distance placed in air to that in medium. Andre, when they are placed in air, when they are placed in medium, what is the ratio of their forces? That itself will give the dielectric constant K. The dielectric constant of a given media is the ratio of two charges separated by a certain distance placed in air to that in medium is called as a dielectric constant. K is equal to Fa by Fm. So here, on what factors the force between the two charges depends is, one is mainly product of magnitudes of their charges, that is Q1 into Q2. One is square of the distance between the two charges. Third one is the medium between the two charges also. As we know, the K value is always, greater than 1. The K value will be always greater than 1. Then Fm will be always lesser than Fa. Fm will be always lesser than Fa since K value is greater than 1. And whenever two charges are separated in certain distance in air, only will have the maximum force compared to any other media. Okay. Now, what is the unit of this permittivity? What is the unit of this permittivity? So if I go with the unit, F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. Then epsilon is equal to, I want to write the unit, 1 by 4 pi F Q1 Q2 by R square. Okay. Now how to write the unit? Here in the numerator Q1 and Q2 is there. The unit of Q1 is Coulomb. The unit of Q2 is also Coulomb. So its unit is Coulomb square in the numerator. 4 pi does not have any unit. F is the unit. F is the force. Its unit is Newton. R is the distance. Its unit is meter. Coulomb square per Newton meter square is the unit of permittivity. Permittivity unit Coulomb square by or per Newton meter square. And what is, so this is SI unit of epsilon, Coulomb square per Newton meter square. What is the dimensional formula? Dimensional formula for epsilon. So Coulomb is nothing but AT. Dimensional for Coulomb is nothing but charge. The dimensional formula for the charge is AT. AT is whole square. Newton represents force. The dimensional formula for the force is mL T power minus 2. And meter square. Meter indicates length. The dimensional formula for meter square is L square. Now this will become, if it goes into numerator, m to the power of minus 1. Here L square, L cube goes to the numerator. It will become L to the power of minus 3. Here T power minus 2 is there. If it goes into numerator, it is T power 4 because here T square, T power minus 2. In the numerator, A square is there. So the dimensional formula for permittivity, is equal to m to the power of minus 1 L to the power of minus 3 t power 4 a square is the dimensional formula for permittivity. Next, what is the unit of dielectric constant? What is the unit of dielectric constant? K is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. So it is the ratio of two similar physical quantities. Idi permittivity ne, ideno permittivity ne. So idiki unit to the unit of this and the unit of this is same. So these two units will get cancels. So the dielectric constant does not have unit. So for K there is no unit, does not have unit. Since it is not having unit, it will not have its dimensional formula also. Okay. Next. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue.